kicking things off, it's going to be Jeffrey Adler. And again, he's one of the stronger guys in the field, so I'd be curious to see how he does. We didn't see him when they did this last, so good starting weight for Adler. And again, with only 3 lifts, what's the approach you should take for an event like this?
Well, I think just like with the classic Olympic lifting type of stuff, when you only have a handful of numbers like this, you want to hit a 75–80%. Get something on the board that you feel comfortable with. You kind of get yourself going, get yourself moving. Get a heavy lift for your third one or your second one, and then go for the fences on the third one. That's kind of what you want to do. If you miss one, then you have to play catch up in defense the whole time. That's what you don't want here, because when you come down to it, the strong will survive. This is all about your strong guys, and you need to get something on the board.
Next up will be Noah Olson for his first attempt. Good for Noah Olson. Now, unique to this event particularly is you have that 45-second rotation, so you get a good 3 to 4 minutes before you go in between, but you only get 3 attempts, and you can't go down in weight. It's pretty reminiscent of what a weightlifting meet would be.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, so you have that's why that first lift is really important. You want to have a good lift to start, but you don't want to go out too heavy and then miss it, and then really have to, like, put your back against the wall and try to fight against that.
Just Medeiros. That looks like 455 on the bar, if I know the colors of the plates correctly. Good, easy starting lift for Medeiros.
Tell us, like, go. Okay. We didn't hear anything, so we started it, but like you couldn't.
Real strong. That's what I love about this guy. He just comes in with youth confidence. It's like he doesn't know he's supposed to have a hard time with it, but look at the power. Nice big breath, nice and tight. Gets to that level, and there wasn't even a hiccup. There was none of, usually have that sticking point. There was no sticking point, and that's lift number 1. That's going to set the stage for a lot of these other athletes.
And a lot of that goes with feels. Again, the speed of the bar, not necessarily how heavy the bar actually feels for these athletes. Quant first attempt at 425.
Ooh,
nice easy lift.
Easy.
But that's what we want. You want for your first lift is something you know you can do, but not too far out to have to make a massive jump for that second attempt. Because that second attempt is going to be key.
Well, and Quant's, like, his listed 1 rep max for the back squat was 445, so that's only 20 pounds off.
Fraser will be up next, your overall leader after 2 events. He has 455 on the bar.
All right, you're up.
And nice lift. You see how tight he took in that nice big breath, really contained, embraced that spine. And what I like is that he has that Olympic lifting power. Look at that nice rebound out of the bottom. Uses that momentum to get him up right through that sticking spot. Nice lift.
Another part of that is looking at the difference of techniques between athletes, especially when you look at the foot position.
Oh, yeah.
How narrow Mat Fraser is, but when Noah Olson comes up is the stark difference of setups for these athletes.
Oh, yeah, it's Olympic lifting setup versus powerlifting setup.
Jeffrey Adler, we're moving on to our second round. So he had 450 on the bar. He had a successful 425. The number that they hit will be displayed in the front of their lane.
So strong. Look at that. Wow. So 455, that's 10 pounds off his listed 1 rep max for back squat. But look at, and again, look at the speed. No hiccup. He didn't even look concerned with that. And I really, we've been curious about what Jeff is going to do, how he's going to handle this mentally. He looked confident there, and just boom, in and out.
Noah Olson will be up next with a 435-pound attempt. Now, as we're looking at back squats, we have 3 different lifts: back squat, strict press, deadlift. These are one of those where you need to bank some weight as opposed, you're not going to get a big advantage on the strict press with most of these guys.
Not at all. So if you have the opportunity to go big, you have to take those 10, 15 pounds, because how much difference are you going to have on a strict press? I mean, that number really gets down there. So you talk about that foot positioning a little bit here. Noah's foot positioning nice and wide, and what that does is that makes it so you bottom out right at parallel. You're not doing a lot of extra work and going down to that extra depth.
Successful lift for Noah Olson, 435 on the books. Medeiros, he hit 455 at his opening weight, but he's only jumped 10 pounds to a 465-pound attempt for his second one.
I think maybe it's a game trying to see if the other guys are going to make a big jump, you know?
Good.
That looked almost too easy.
Yeah. You know what? Okay, again, games. Maybe it's a rookie move. Very strong. He easily could have gone up another 10 pounds just to take that, to push the field a little bit. You have to be able to take a swing at some of these guys. Push the field if you can, because if you have the opportunity, especially where he's sitting, if you have the opportunity to push someone like Mat Fraser or even Samuel Quant, you got to make that push. You got to do it now.
Quant had a successful 425, 445 on the bar. Again, I mean, some of these smaller, maybe
I would have thought it would have been more aggressive.
Yeah.
I would have thought there would have been a more aggressive jump. Again, very easy movement. I mean, geez,
that might be the fastest lift we've seen so far from any of the competitors.
There's some styrofoam in those weights. Looks like my 135.
Mat Fraser, 455, successful first attempt. It looks like with whites on the side, might be a 475, so this would be the heaviest weight we've seen put on the bar.
Nice lift, nice and easy. Okay, Matt, he's got the cushion. He's got a ton of room between himself and the rest of the field. Doesn't need to go crazy, and again, that's not an overly aggressive. I mean, with what he's able to do now, he has a listed 1 rep max at 485, so it's still close to that.
Yes.
But we have a couple other lifts that we're going to be able to add into there with the deadlifts especially.
All right, and so we know Fraser just hit 475. Adler is up, and he's chosen to get to a 470 for his final attempt.
We talked to Jeff earlier about this, and we said, hey, you know what? You got to take some swings. Go for it, like attack. It's attack Matt, actually, is what is really all coming down to. You have to want to attack Matt, especially look at how easy that was. He could have done more.
Although he seems a little surprised how he did.
Well, maybe, but even with his 1 rep max, I mean, that has listed for that 465. I just think that was way too easy. Look at that. Popped right up.
And I think that's why we said the second lift is so important, that you get it right, that you put yourself right to the edge, because that third rep should be the go for it one.
Right.
Forgot. Not done.
Noah Olson had 435. This looks like a 455 for Olson.
Yeah, baby.
I love the fact that, like, this is the one time that we actually get to hear the athlete.
Yes.
You know, usually it's just people yelling and screaming, but, like, to get that nice, yeah, baby, in there is great.
Noah got a little stuck right there in the middle, and that's what we're hoping to see for a third one.
Yeah, baby.
And that's that sticking point that we were talking about. I was expecting to see more of those through here. And that's when you really are pushing yourself to that limit. So
here comes the gamesmanship. Medeiros has 480 on the bar. Heaviest weight we've seen is 475 from Mat Fraser.
Nice. Now we know he's a rookie. Maybe that was the plan. Let me not go heavy on that second round so that it draws Matt only in so far, and then take the jump. That looked easy. I mean, he moved it.
With that 480, Medeiros moves into first so far. We still have 2 lifters left to go, but 480 is the heaviest weight we've seen so far. Quant's got 460 on the bar. Now 445, again, it looked so easy. I'm surprised it's just a 15-pound jump.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice, easy lift. Well, I mean, I guess, you know, he was probably thinking like, okay, I'm not going to go as far as, I just have to get over Noah. Maybe the jump to Fraser was just going to be a little bit too much. So know where you need to jump. Again, nice and clean, nice and clean.
So 480 is still the weight to beat. Fraser hit 475 on his second lift, and now with the way it's going is 482.
Wow.
So Fraser with that will have the heaviest weight so far, and that will be it for the back squat. So we'll move from the back squat now to the strict shoulder press overhead.
And again, look where his foot placement is. I mean, this is classic Olympic lifting style, not powerlifting style. All the way down, able to use, they call it a stretch reflex down at the bottom. That's that little bounce. Body's braced and able to hold so much of that weight.
All right, we just got word that that is actually 492. So it wasn't just the 2-pound jump, but it's a 12-pound jump from what Medeiros had put up at 480.
And what that does for Matt is it gives him a cushion for the deadlift, because the deadlift you can have it's very easy to have a 20-pound swing on a deadlift.
Yes.
So to be able to use that to your advantage when you know you have the ability to do that, that's going to be huge.
So your listed results from the back squat. Mat Fraser will take the top weight. Now we are going to add all the weights together to determine who wins event number 3, but he has a 12-pound lead on Medeiros. Adler in third, 10 points back. As you move into the first rep of the shoulder press, Adler has the bar loaded to 190.
Good.
Nice.
I would say more for strict press. That's when you take those nervous jumps, because it's such a sensitive lift, because you can have days where you PR by 20 and you can have days where you're under by your PR on 20.
And if that bar path isn't just perfect, it goes from an easy lift to feeling like it's 30 pounds heavier than it needs to be.
205 on the bar for Noah Olson, which is why we thought we'd see more aggressive weight changes on the back squat, because you could do that a little bit. It gets very tricky with the shoulder press because you're not allowed to go down in weight. So I would figure people would be a bit more gun shy in this one than the back squat. 205 is good for Noah Olson.
205.
205. I love that he's going to be talking through this all the way, but you can see what he was doing, trying to get his head back out of the way. Almost a slight lean back to torque his body. That just changes that angle of his arms a little bit more to make it a little bit, just a touch easier.
Which I think Noah's weight might have been 195 with that blue plate on side, and he's asking to go to 205.
Maybe. Now with Medeiros, the way he's setting up here, I thought that he would have started a little heavier. Just with the way he was moving the bar in the reloaded event earlier, I mean, he didn't have any issues with that bar going overhead. Granted, this is strict press versus a jerk. But again, there's still a lot of shoulder strength that you need with that. And we saw, you know, that Matt failed on that one lift. Nice, strong movement there. And again, maybe this is just, okay, let me get my first lift in. Let me go a little bit more aggressive and kind of get to that peak at that second lift, and then go for, you know, just swing for the fences on the third. But nice and solid.
I mean, that... I'll say one thing for Medeiros. Dude's got some long arms, and that is not conducive to a good strict press.
Yeah, he really does. He really does.
185 to start for Samuel Quant. Third overall in total weight lifted coming off of the back squat.
Good.
Good, I would say, solid first lift to
That was
just
a great
get something
first
on the board.
You can even see he saw that same thing. Just like, let me get a nice number. But look how, I mean, he just looks really strong. It's crazy. The squats and the deadlifts are such a powerful looking lift because you have so much weight. Like the weights look so small here, but that very strict movement makes it very, very difficult to do.
Fraser, his first lift will be at 185, leading the total so far with that 495 or 92-pound back squat.
Wow, easy, easy.
And a lot with the strict press, you feel like you got to find where your hands feel comfortable.
Yeah.
How does that bar path feel? This first rep kind of feels like you're just feeling out the lift. I mean, they've all done it, but when you're going heavy, you just got to kind of get what the vibe of the strict press is going to be today.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you have to feel, you got to ride it out a little bit. All these athletes have done, these lifts a bazillion times, so that's nothing new. But you come out here knowing that you have the pressure of only 3 lifts. You have to make every single one of those as perfect as you can make them. Good. Now, one of the things with the strict press that you have to be careful with. Yes, when you take the bar off the rack and you take that step back, you almost want to get into that push right away. And I thought that Jeff was going to hang out just a little bit too long. The bar gets heavier and heavier the longer ways. Look how much of a pause there was. Yeah. So, I mean, if there was like a second more or a millisecond more of that bar would have started to move down, which, changes that weight entirely.
It's definitely a step back and press type lift. You can't really
get it off your shoulders as fast as you can.
Okay, here's 205 for Noah Olson. 195 successful first attempt.
Good.
And that is good. So 205 for Noah Olson. And that for a lot of times you look at body weight relative to maybe what your strict press would be. The goal, they say weight benchmarks is at least strict press your body weight as a benchmark goal, and Noah being 190-ish, like being 15 pounds over that's a good strict press for Noah Olson.
And you can tell the way his body was moving, he was adjusting his body to get under that, so you saw him really lean back to try to get that arm. It's like very classic, like 1970s Olympic style, clean and press, where you kind of lean back for it.
Well, speaking of 70s, the mullet is up next. Yeah. As Medeiros has 175 on the bar.
And I have to say, I honestly was expecting more on this lift from. Now, you did say that he has long arms.
Though,
he does. He has long arms, and the longer your arms go, the more of a mechanical disadvantage you have. Man, I think I would have had his hands moved out just a touch more, because you can see when he's pressing, his elbows were out. So if he can keep his forearms as straight up and down, keep that vector force going in the same direction, that's going to be the best direction.
200 bar for Samuel Kwon. Successful in his first attempt.
Good.
That'll be good for Kwon. The heaviest weight is still Noah Olson at 205.
And what I really like with the way Samuel's been showing himself up so far in these first 3 events, he's confident. I mean, we talked about, is he coming in with a chip on his shoulder? And I don't see the chip. I see some confidence, so it's just a quiet confidence right now.
Hey, Mat Fraser bumping up to 200 pounds.
Yeah. Good.
Nice and easy. Nice and easy.
So the second round of strict press is done as you move into the third and final round. With Mat Fraser's 200 pounds, that is going to keep him in the lead so far, even though the heaviest weight was put up by Noah Olson on the strict press. As Adler moves up to 207. So that's more what we're hoping to see is, again, the game within the game. Noah Olson went 205. Adler bumps up 2 more pounds to 207.
And Adler needs this. He definitely needs to do this, and he needs to take some chances. You got to remember, like, I know that we're on a 3-day competition here, but the worst you're going to do is 5th in the world. So with that being the case, take some swings. Go for it, you know?
That could be said for everybody except Matt is like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th. What does it matter? Go for it. That's good. 207 for Adler, and that should be a new PR.
Yeah. This I'm proud of.
Okay, see, now hopefully something like this is going to, light the fire into him a little bit. Get that PR. Very happy about that, which he should be. That's very cool. As he gets a little little bicep pose in there, excellent. But now he needs to ride that. He needs to use that energy of that confidence, that feel good, something that he's proud of, and just keep going with it.
Hey, Olsen got 205 in his first attempt, or his second attempt. It's like 212 on the bar, but it's not going to be enough.
And if you see it, I don't know if we'll be able to see it from the side on the replay or not, but the bar got just in front of him a little bit. He wasn't able to lean back and keep that bar on that straight bar path. That's why that bar just came right back down. See him pushing, he's leaning back, and the bar actually moved forward about literally a half an inch to an inch. Just wasn't able to get under it.
And that's the crux. You come up with something as delicate as a strict press. Everything needs to be perfect when you get to these upper echelon weights.
Absolutely.
It's like 180. 182 for Medeiros. Oh.
Almost. But I did like the fact that he came right off and tried to get right into it. He knew it was going to be a heavyweight, so he tried to get right into it. But again, that bar is not in that straight line. You're just not going to be able to get up overhead.
Sammy Kwant be up next. 207 on the bar, so 207 from Adler, 207 attempt from Kwant. Olsen has 205 as the second best we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Okay. 207 is good for Kwant, so that'll tie the heaviest weight we've seen on the strict press. Again, we're not getting scored individually per event, but a positive booster for him going into the deadlifts.
No, but this is that quiet confidence that we were talking about that we were really hoping to see. Look at that nice battle, gets his head back underneath, gets the arms locked out. And what I liked was the little nod he gave himself right after. It wasn't he didn't give himself the bicep pose, but it's like all right. But my little nod and I went for it.
And if you're going to get stuck in a position, getting that bar over the top of your head instead of in front of your face is where you want to fight.
It's huge.
210 for Mat Fraser. And that is good for Mat Fraser. And so he goes 2 for 2 of the heaviest weights we've seen for both to listen. There's
oh, man. He's the champ for a reason. He's definitely the champ for a reason. I love the fact that he let that game play out, with Adler and Kwant, and then he just kind of steps up, adds a couple more pounds, and just puts a nail in it.
Well, and here's the benefit of being in first place overall and getting to go last above everybody, so you can play that game. So Fraser gets the heaviest strict press of the group, tailing off what he did for the back squat. 210, tie for second between Adler and Kwant. Noah Olsen at 205 and Medeiros 175. And again, you could just see is that it's one of those you either got it or you don't. It wasn't a deficiency per se. It was just that's not a good lift for him.
No, it really isn't. But what's impressing me right now is Fraser is lifting more than he did the last time we did this in the last games. He's already up by almost 30 pounds just based on those 2 lifts. We haven't got to the deadlift yet.
Final movement, we have the deadlift. We'll start with Adler as we have for the first 2 rounds. Adler sitting just about, now 25 pounds behind Mat Fraser in total.
Good.
Nice lift. Looked very strong.
Now, these athletes do have their coaches on the sideline that allows them to decide which weights they want to pick, what weight have already been done. So they do have that advantage of having their coach there for them. Noah Olson setting up for his first attempt. Looks like 4:05. 4:95. Oh, yeah, they got the little thin blue power plates on the bar. There you go.
This is 550, but I'm gonna maybe change.
Wow. And if you look at his hands, like, you would not normally see a heavy CrossFit deadlifter using that double overhand grip. You're usually going to see that alternate grip. So impressive movement there by Noah. Great lift for sure. Watch his hands.
Not just his hands, but his feet.
His feet are super wide. And again, the wide feet, what that does is your arms kind of get in the way and it drives your knees in. So it changes that whole, again, that vector of power that you're trying to do.
So Olson just hit 495. Medeiros has 495 on the bar. And he's going to make a move here just because of the strict press that he's had. He's well behind the field after that.
Decent little lift. I saw a little hiccup there, so I don't really know how much more he's going to be able to pull above that. He's going to have to kind of rally himself up a little bit, I think. I saw a little bit of a bump, a little hiccup in his back end. But coming up, right there, you can kind of see how he just started, got a little hung up on that. So what that tells me is, okay, how much more can he go up? Can he go up another 40 pounds? I don't know. That's going to be a tough one. Or even another 25 pounds.
Samuel Kwan opening with 475.
Good.
Nice. Easy speed off the floor.
Easy. And, you know, I think that was a good call to make. Just to feel some of that heavyweight, get that nervous system ready to take some of that heavyweight before you jump into something and kind of shock it or scare it.
Seconds, Matt.
485 on the bar for Mat Fraser. He's already had the heaviest toll on both the back squat and the strict press.
Good.
Nice opening lift for Mat Fraser.
And again, just like what I was talking about with Quan, I think it's, you know, pick a weight that you can feel some weight, feel it on your body a little bit, then you can make your attacking jumps. Plus, you can also have your coach off to the side and be like, all right, how much do you need to make your jump by? If you went big on the squat, which Matt did, and you also had the heaviest overhead press or the strict press, now you have that cushion that you get to work with, so you don't need to overextend for no reason.
As I said before, Matt led the first two, but with such a big weight discrepancy here, Adler hit 535, and now he's going for 552, which we just heard would be a personal best attempt.
Wow, beautiful.
Si j'ai pas besoin de faire la dernière, je la fais pas, fait calcul.
And I don't know what he just said because I don't speak French, but other than that, it was like, okay, I think I can go up. But look at that.
And that was still, honestly, that wasn't the cleanest lift in the world.
That
It was
bar
like
actually
2
moved
inches off
forward.
of his body.
Yeah, it like actually moved forward, so that really puts a lot of tension on his low back. But he moved easily through that.
And we said before, Adler's going to ride that emotional wave of confidence. And that strict press, you can see, is starting to pay off for the deadlift. .532 on the bar for Olson. Successful 495 attempt on his first one.
Nice pull.
532 will be good for Noah.
Tell you what, I like the way he just melts into that first pull. Watch this. Kind of sets himself up. There's not a whole lot of speed out of there, but you can see in his lats, everything just really lights up as he really engages all those muscles on that back, that posterior chain, and just slowly pulls it on up. Beautiful lift.
So Noah discussing what his third weight is going to be. Medeiros, successful 495 to start.
517, yeah.
almost like a Dave Castro rep right there. That's how long that took to get up. But good pull off the ground. And I like the fact that he didn't stop. He let that power kind of build in his body as he kind of slowly got that bar moving and got some momentum on it.
Definitely fought through that.
Yeah.
Samuel Kwan setting up for 525 pounds.
Good.
He's just a smooth criminal right now.
I was just about to say, that was start to finish, just a nice
criminal.
Smooth, and we see it in the squats, the strict press, and the deadlifts.
Just kind of in there, does his thing, drops it. Not a word. Not a word.
We haven't really seen a sticking point in any of the lifts so far. We've also haven't seen any struggle or real speed as well. Like I said, it's just a nice, smooth, strong lift. And Mat Fraser might be lining up for a 517-pound attempt. So that'll be good for Mat Fraser. Now here's the crazy part is that he won the back squat, he won the strict press, but with the way Adler's lifting right now, 50 pounds over this, he might not win the event just because of the deadlift. I
know. And you know what? Again, it's a solid lift. I mean, that's more than what he did the last time at the game. So I take that back. Just under what he did, about 10 pounds under that. But he was over before. So, like, he's right in the same realm, right in the same area where he was. But you're right. Like, Adler has, I mean, that deadlift was insane that he just pulled on that last time around.
Successful 550 lift for Adler. This is the one he's hoping that can push him over the top for an event win.
Wow. Holy cow. Look at that.
567 pounds for Jeffrey Adler.
It's incredible that you can make that big of a jump on a PR that you already had. Granted, it's the games, but holy cow. I mean, I tell you, I was not really expecting him to have. I'm not really expecting him to have that much of a drive. I mean, what we saw earlier, I thought he might be broken. I'm hoping that he can really use this for, to drive him the next couple days.
Noah Olson hit 532. This will be 540.
There it goes. Wow, again. That was a long one. Again, just really kind of melts himself into that rep and just keeps on pulling, knowing that he can get up there, just trying to be patient, letting that bar move and never stop.
Yeah, and I think some people are like, oh, well, he's rounding a little bit. But the thing for here is like when you're talking about the power and safety position, if the back doesn't move
if it's braced,
while the movement is going, he's just braced.
Totally.
He's bracing for impact.
Totally.
540 pounds of impact. All right, Medeiros is up. This is his final lift. 550 on the bar.
Oh, wow. I thought he made it past that sticky hard part in the beginning. He just had to get it up over his knees. So it was a little sticky right here in the beginning, but he kept on fighting. I thought it was like, oh, it's good. And then all of a sudden, someone turned the magnets on. And it just stopped that bar in midair. I mean, great pull, great attempt. And that was what he needed to do. I think he still should have gone for that attempt.
545 on the bar for Kwan. That's not going to move an inch. So he'll stay with his last total. 529 will be good for Samuel Kwan. That's still 12 pounds more than Fraser did at 517. And Mat Fraser will be your last one to lift for event 3. Fraser hit 517 on his last attempt. He's sitting about
25 pounds?
25 pounds outside, 35 pounds outside.
Lift.
535 on the bar for Fraser.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, judges.
Little bit of eyes across the floor on that. You saw that. I think that that's important to see that battle. We want to see that battle. And I think, you know what, this is okay for Jeff Adler. He needs to be staring Mat in the face. But what a great lift. Mat put it on there, knew what he had to hit. And again, he attacked. And what we've seen most of the time when Mat has to do a deadlift, whether it was a deadlift ladder or if it was the last time we did the total, he didn't go all out on the deadlift. He never really needed to. Here he did, and that was, I mean, he went for it. That was impressive. I didn't think he would step up because why? You don't need to, really.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But he went for it.
There you go.
That's all right. Hey, what Jeff needs to understand right now is the pressure is on Mat Fraser, not on Jeff Adler. So take your swing.
That's
Take
it for everybody. So Jeffrey Adler will hit 567 as the heaviest weight for the deadlift. Olsen 540, Medeiros 37, Fraser 35. So though Medeiros didn't hit the last lift, he still had the third best lift of the group in the deadlift.
And you know, and I'll take back what I said about that first pull that he had. I thought he was going to have a rough start of the deadlift, and that's not the case. I mean, maybe just a bad first lift, or had to kind of find that groove, but he found it. He found it.
So, Brooke Wells leading things off. She's currently in 5th place overall. 290 pounds on the bar to get things started. Again, they will have 45 seconds per attempt. They'll work down from 5th place down to 1st place. So the major advantage is Tia-Clair coming in to see what the athletes have already done.
100%. And this is one of the things that I was excited to see once I saw these two athletes going head-to-head was, or this event coming up was Brooke versus Tia, and Brooke needs this. So that was a nice lift to start off with, just to get that confidence builder and then kind of move from there. But she needs to do well in this particular event to get herself back up that leaderboard.
Carrie Pierce is next. We know Brooke Wells is going to have a good showing based off what she did a couple years ago. Those that need to do well, Carrie Pierce is the Haley Adams, the Captain Davis daughter. That's one I'm going to keep my eye on. Catch will be coming up next. Is, you know, she had a back injury that held her out darn near the entire season. I mean, the Open was back in October. It's been a year.
Wait, when did we do that
It's been a year since we did the Open to qualify these athletes for these games here in 2020, but it was the back injury that knocked her out of Dubai, Wadapalooza, as we come in to the game. So she says she has it shored up. She hasn't been able to strength train as much as she had been. And this is one of those events you are almost being a little extra cautious when you put her out there for the total.
Well, you know, before this started, you were talking about this, and it was like she needed to almost count herself out on this event. Well, she didn't have a real good first event, so now all of a sudden she needs to do well here. And you know, that was a great lift to start with. You know, she said that in the first phase with the front squat, she wasn't really sure what she was going to hit. So being able to come in with some level of confidence, being able to compare herself not with Tia Toomey, Brooke Wells, but like, hey, maybe I just need to keep myself above Haley Adams, who's not necessarily known for her strength. I mean, she said that she's improved her strength over the quarantine time, which has been great. But this is one of the elements that we were curious about with her, because even the first phase didn't have a lot of real heavy weight. Decent weight, but not brute strength, as you see in the total.
235 on the bar for Haley Adams. That looked very easy for her.
Nice way to start off. Nice solid lift. Build some of that confidence. And again, she's got, you know, some longer legs, so the levers are going to be a little bit different. You saw her knees buckle in there just a little bit, but there was no slowdown. Didn't look like there was any hitch in that lift at all.
Tia Toomey's going to open things up at 315-pound attempt for Tia-Clair Toomey. And Tia Toomey wasting no time setting the bar for the rest of the field. 25 pounds ahead of Brooke Wells' second best attempt at 290.
And it's crazy. She is so strong, but watch where her knees go every time. It's so crazy. I mean, they virtually touch and push off themselves to get her up. But whatever it does, it works. And she makes it work every single time. So Tia is definitely setting the bar high. We knew she would in this event. I mean, she won this event, or of these women won the event had the highest lifts of the event the last time we did this. So you know she's coming in going for gold.
Back for the second round of back squats. Again, just 3 attempts total for each athlete. Brooke Wells led things off. She had 290 for her first attempt.
Whoa.
Now, successful lift for her second one.
Now, a good lift, very controlled. One thing I was a little concerned with is she went down so slow, and you can really blow out a lot of that power and a lot of that energy if you go down too controlled. You have to let gravity work with you out just a touch if you can.
Up next is Carrie Pierce, 262 on the bar. She had 250 as a successful first attempt. Captain Davis' daughter at 245 will be up next after this. Pierce sitting in fourth, tied in points with Brooke Wells. This 262 will be good, so that's a good second lift for Pierce. She'll have one more to go.
Nice, easy lift. Nice and solid. She's got in there. You saw her brace that, take that nice big breath, brace down on that midline, squeeze that belly together, and then hit the lift.
As Pierce is pondering what to do for the last one, David's daughter is still adjusting her weight total for the second one. She had 245. And we just got word she's bumping up to 257. That'll be 5 pounds under what Pierce just did. Brooke Wells just knocked in a 305 for her second lift. So David's daughter is up, 245, successful on her first attempt on the back squat, 257 here.
Good.
It actually looked a lot better than the first one did.
Yeah, it really did. And maybe that was a little bit of confidence. You know, get in there, get some heavy weight on you, see what it feels like. You know, we talked about earlier about her injury and what she had to deal with through the year. She wants to have a good lift. She almost has to kind of take herself out of this particular event, just in her head. Take herself out of the event. Don't run unnecessary risks, but have a good lift so you can build some confidence.
Haley Adams at 235 in her first one, 250 on the bar for her second attempt.
Wow.
Good.
Nice and easy. Okay. Okay. That was solid.
So 250 will be good for Haley Adams. Haley Adams currently sitting second overall.
I'll tell you what, she has such confidence for being as young as she is. It's amazing.
Now, Tia Toomey, your overall leader, won the first 2 events. We had the 2007 Reloaded. We had the Hill Sprint. We moved back here to the competition complex. She had a successful 315 on her first attempt, 325 for her second. Another good lift for Tia Toomey. Again, what we see nice is the bar speed. The bar speed down and up isn't really changing. It's not slowing down. It's a good sign.
Well, it just
thinking
shows
about the next weight.
Yeah, it just shows how much power she has and so much control over that. I mean, even though on the replay when it's slow, if the knees really come in, it looks like she's going to get hung up on that, but it's down and she just comes right back up. I mean, there's some technique things that you could sit there and pick, but if the lift is a good lift, it's a good lift, and that was a solid lift.
Hey, tell you what, if you tell me to clap my knees together and I'll get a 325-pound back squat, I'll sign up for that right now.
Smack those knees together all day long.
315 on the bar for Brooke Wells. This will be a third and final attempt.
Good.
That'll be good for Brooke Wells. So that's the second heaviest weight we have in the field. Again, only 5 pounds separated Tia Toomey and Brooke Wells back in 2018 when we previous did the total.
Much better descend. I think that the tempo that she went down was a little bit better. There was a little sticking point, but that's just because it's heavy. So I really like the way she put that lift together.
Pierce had a successful 262, 270 on the bar for her third and final attempt.
Good.
270 good for Pierce, and there's really a 2-part race to this. There's the Brooke Wells and Tia Toomey, and then there's the Carrie Catron and Haley Adams.
And I tell you what, I mean, Carrie just does her thing. Got under the bar. That was a great lift, you know. And for her, I think that was an important lift ahead. You want to make that one as you kind of, if you're going to not knock it out of the park, creep yourself up to just kind of get to that level, and that was a great lift for her.
265 in the bar for Katrin Davidsdottir. She had 257. It was a 12-pound jump from her first attempt, and now an 8-pound jump for her third. Katrin just trying to stay close to Carrie, but ahead of Haley, hoping to get a few points extra in this event.
Good.
Nice. Very good job. I thought she was going to get a little hung up there. I mean, she went down. You saw her head come up really high, so that's usually a sign of, like, I'm stuck. So you're trying to work your way through it, but the body just kept on moving, and she didn't seem to panic as it started to feel a little heavier, and she's worked her way through it sled dog style and got that weight up. So nice lift for her, and I think that was an important one for her as well.
I think Katrin's actually sneaking some plates on there. It looks like 269 is what she actually ended up hitting. 265 on the bar for Haley Adams. And a good lift for Haley Adams. She had 250 prior to this and a good 15-pound jump for that third one. So 265 for Haley Adams. Still 5 to 7 pounds away from your closest two competitors. That's setting it up well for her.
That's not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Tia Toomey had 325 of her second attempt. Brooke Wells hit 315. And it looks like she's going for 335. You can see your coach Shane Orr on the right side of your screen. As Tia's looking to put a lot more distance between her and Brooke Wells. 335 with ease for Tia Toomey. So Tia Toomey will have a 20-pound lead going into the strict press.
Look at that. Again, these athletes that got to have that quarantine time. I think on the strength side, we can see a lot of these, and we've heard them say that. I was actually got stronger during the quarantine time because the distractions got taken away. We're starting to see those things.
Shane watching on. Good little double fist pump. Almost got the clap, but we might save that. We might save that for the end. We'll get the double fist pump and the clap. So we move from back squat to strict press. Tia Toomey going into this is a 20-pound lead on Brooke Wells, and we saw a lot of this on the men's side where Fraser actually took both the back squat and the strict press, but then lost it in the deadlift because it is cumulative weight. It's not individualized scoring. We're going to total this up as we move from back squat to strict press. As Brooke Wells will get set for her first attempt. Looks like she might have about 130 on the bar.
Whoa, went out in front there a little bit. You saw that. I thought she was going to miss that. Now, the thing with Brooke is she's got that overextension of the back. We see that on handstand push-ups. We see that on a lot of events.
We saw that in the first event.
I think that's what the issue was there. So she really needed to really pull back to get that bar back in line, to get that bar up overhead.
Wells actually got a successful 135 for Brooke Wells. Carrie Pierce has 140 on the bar. Now, if her strict press is anything like her strict handstand push-ups,
jeez, seriously,
she might be able to put up a decent number here. She had a successful back squat lift of 272. It's good enough for third overall. As 140 will be good for Carrie Pierce on her first attempt.
Now, the last time we did this is the 2018 games. Carrie had the highest strict press weight out of all the ladies that are out here, so she was able to hit 155 then. So a nice way for her to start. Again, you see her get that little bit of a lean back, but that bar pass stayed right, straight. Really able to use the strength of those shoulders, man.
Katrin Davidsdottir will be up next. Total weight from the back squat, she's sitting in fourth overall. She has a 9-pound edge on Haley Adams, and that's going to be important as we move into the strict press, but more importantly, the deadlift. Katrin coming off that back injury earlier this year. She's have to get as much weight as she can in these first two movements to offset what she might not be able to lift in the third and final one. So that'll be successful for Katrin Davidsdottir.
She needs to make sure she's careful not to take that breath and have any sort of a dip. A lot of the judges get really, really picky if they see any movement at all. So not like she was trying to gain a whole lot of momentum, but even if it appears that there's a little bit of momentum, the judge will call it as a no rep. So she needs to really watch that.
Haley Adams will be up next. 5th overall in total weight after the back squat, but not far behind. 9 pounds behind Davidsdottir, 12 behind Pierce. Good first lift for Haley Adams. Sitting in 2nd overall after the first 2 events this morning. 70 points back behind Tia, but 2nd overall nonetheless.
You know, and Chase, we've had this conversation a lot about the younger female athletes, especially that's that pushing power. Usually it's the last piece to develop. So this is where she really needs to be able to try to do as much as she can, kind of play the field a little bit, keep herself in the game as much as possible when she gets to that deadlift.
Tia Toomey's up. This will be her first attempt at strict press. Looks like it might just be about 125 to start.
Which, if that was the case, it was an easy 125. The last time for the 2018 games total that we did it, she hit a 130 on the strict press. That was her top out number.
Wow.
So,
well,
I
there
mean,
you go.
Yeah, start at 125 and hit it easy, and then just go above that last way.
In those overheads, we talked about this when the men were going, but the strict press is it's a delicate flower of a lift, right? You can have a 20-pound PR day or a 20-pound minus PR day, just based off the way things stack up. Everything needs to be perfect. We saw that on Brooke. It's like you can't afford to push out a couple inches when you get to these heavier weights.
Right, that was exactly it.
Not to do the announcer curse on Brooke Wells. That was not intentional.
You're welcome. There you go.
That was the case.
So exactly what happened there, we saw that was Brooke was trying to get back. You see her leaning back with that bar. The lean comes from trying to pull that bar back into position, trying to keep that straight line of path of travel.
150 on the bar for Carrie Pierce. One thing to note for Brooke Wells and part of the rules is that you cannot go back down in weight. So she's going to have to attempt that again, or else she will only get that first lift that she made. 150 on the bar for Carrie Pierce. 150 overhead for Carrie Pierce.
So Carrie's really known for, I mean, right there you can see in her abs, but obviously her shoulder work as well. The fact that she's got that solid core, that just rock solid foundation to be able to push off of, that really helps her when she's driving the bar up overhead.
Davidsdottir is up. Her first attempt at 120 was good. 130 on the bar for her second one.
Nice lift. That's a 5-pound jump over the 2018 time, or 2018 score that she had. So great job. Great job for her to be back in here just mixing it up like that. And that went up nice and easy. Nice and easy.
So 130 be good for Davidsdottir. Round number 1. Adams also hit 120 as she's going to put 127 on the bar. It actually matches what Toomey did in the first round. Toomey got 127. And Adams, her sticking point is that couple inches right above the top of the shoulders. When she can get past that chin,
there it is.
A bit stronger than she did on the first one.
Yeah, that looked better than the last lift for sure. Great positioning, gets her face out of the way. That bar, you can see the bar doesn't move. She's able to get herself back just a touch. Keeping that bar path nice and straight. That's really to allow her to get the maximum drive on that bar with those shoulders.
All right. 132 on the bar for Tia Toomey. This would be 2 pounds over what she did in 2018. This would put her in third.
Jeez, oh man. Come on.
132 is good.
There could have been a 142 in there, I think. I'm just going to say it. That was really, really easy.
You're on me, Moz.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Steps right up. Great positioning, nice solid base. Straight drive, and then just the confidence. Like, that bar didn't stop.
So 132 is good for Tia Toomey as we finish our second round on the strict press. And up next, our third and final reps for the strict press. Brooke Wells had hit 130 previously, went for 137, missed it. She's going to have to try it again because you can't go down in weight.
There we go.
And that's the thing, is like she looked like she had no business lifting that weight in the second attempt, but fixed some things on the third one and made it look like she could have done something more around the 140, 145 mark.
Well, and she I mean, the last time we saw this in the 2018 game, she hit 140. So, I mean, she should be right in that realm. But that's that we're talking fractions of an inch out of position when you're using, such a small amount of muscle fibers to do it. I mean, it's just shoulders. That's it.
The fickle lift that is the strict press. 157 on the bar for Carrie Pierce. Hoping to extend her lead in this movement alone, and Carrie Pierce will hit 157, and she'll maintain the heaviest weight we've seen on the strict press. Now, she had the third best weight on the back squat, so she's made up some ground here on the second round.
Well, and I like the fact that she came off the rack and immediately started pushing. She didn't hang out to wait and set her feet and do all these other things. Just one step back and boom, right up overhead.
Next closest in weight on this movement is 20 pounds. 20-pound difference in a strict press. Up next, Katrin Davidsdottir. This will be her third and final attempt. She's already hit 130. She's going for 137. That would tie her with Brooke Wells.
Wow, look at that.
And with that lift, more importantly, that puts her 10 pounds ahead of Haley Adams.
And you know what? We talk about the speed of coming off the rack. She hung out there for a while, and I was thinking, well, okay, that was going to be the throwaway lift. But not the case. She hung in there and just had no issues driving that up overhead. It looked way easier than it should have been.
So Davidsdottir will hit 137. Two more lifters to go. Haley Adams, he has 127 in the bag so far. She's got to try to close the gap between her and Davidsdottir to try to get out of that fifth place position.
Wow, there was a lot of fight going on there. So you have the full 45 seconds if you need to re-rack or whatever. Are they going to let her do it? No.
So she's going to get 127. And that'll put her 10 pounds behind Davidsdottir. Davidsdottir still in fourth.
That was a close attempt. Close attempt. Good fight for it.
Tia Toomey has put 140 on the bar. You have two 137s between Wells and Davidsdottir. This will put her 3 pounds ahead and into second place for this lift. And Tia Toomey, 140 pounds. 10 pounds more than she did 2 years ago at the 2018 CrossFit Games. Those worked out pretty well for her in the end.
Just so dang strong.
And so we're going to combine the back squat weight with the strict press weight as we move into the third and final lift. That's the deadlift. Coming up, 3 attempts just like we've had before. Carrie Pierce will have the best lift at 157, 17 pounds. Closing the gap on Tia-Clair Toomey, 140. And that tie for 137 between Wells, Davidsdottir, and Adams. As we move into the back squat, now here's where a lot of things can change. We saw it on the men's side especially. Brooke Wells, 395 to start. Brooke Wells is the best deadlifter in the field.
Yeah.
But Tia Toomey is not far behind.
Well, no, when these guys battled in the total the last time, they had the same deadlift. But the last time when we did the deadlift ladder, Brooke was the one that just crushed the field with it. So this is where she needs to be able to make up a lot of those pounds. So she has to attack it. She has to be aggressive. This is where she's strong, so she's got to get after it.
Brooke Wells is 23 pounds behind Tia Toomey for the overall total. Toomey still leads at 475. 395 with ease for Brooke Wells. So Brooke Wells is going to have to at least do 23 to 25 more pounds on this lift alone to overtake Tia Toomey.
Nice way to start. Looked very strong. You saw that nice brace midline. Bar didn't waver anywhere. Straight up her shins.
Kara Pierce will be up next. She's third overall in total weight, 429. That 150-pound strict press got her a little bit closer to Tia Toomey. But again, she's got a long way to go. A little bit closer, I mean 46 pounds closer. And she'll have a successful 315.
Again, a nice lift to start. I think her butt was up just a touch. Could have come down just a little bit to use those legs a little bit more, but it was a nice, easy lift to start with.
Now, this is the movement we've been curious to see with Katrin Davidsdottir coming in. Again, she's been hindered with a back injury, a disc issue, this entire season since the Open. $275 on the bar. She has a 19-pound edge on Adams, and that is a near negligible amount of distance between the two when it comes to a deadlift, and a movement that has been, I mean, this is not the movement you want to be doing when you have had back issues in the past.
Totally. And again, we keep talking about the injury, but even before there was the injury in 2018 games, she had the struggles. She only was able to hit 295 then, so she's going to have to try to keep those weights up as best as you can, especially to keep ahead of Haley Adams.
I mean, a few races, as you said, basically three different races. Pierce is kind of stuck in the middle between Tia Toomey and Brooke Wells.
Yep.
This race off the bottom between Haley Adams and Katrin Davidsdottir. We said it was a 19-pound difference, and with 285 or 280 for Haley Adams, that's going to close the gap 5 more pounds.
Now, I will say that Katrin looked solid when she did her, so I think that was more of just a first lift, but she also can kind of see, all right, so how does Haley move on that?
Haley looked pretty good,
great.
too.
She looked great, absolutely. But they're going to try to kind of create themselves up as they move, so.
Tia Toomey, 385 on the bar, over 100 pounds from Haley Adams, 285. So 285 for Haley. This is still 10 under what Brooke Wells did. That's a good lift for Tia Toomey, so 385's on the board. So Wells have closed the gap by 10 pounds on the first lift.
Nice, easy first lift. You can see that nice, calm setup. Checks her hamstrings, pulls on up, nice and solid.
Your weight totals coming into the second wave. Unofficially, Tia Toomey, 860, 13 pounds behind now is Brooke Wells as she gets set for her second attempt. Carrie Pierce is in limbo, about 40 pounds above and below her. Davidsdottir sitting at 681, Adams at 672, so a 9-pound difference between Adams and Davidsdottir, 13-pound difference between Wells and Toomey. Second lift is good for Wells, and she had to work for that one.
There was a little hitch up at the top. You see some of these athletes that, they're able to pull it. I would think the hard part would be pulling it off the ground myself, but once she gets it up past her knees, that's when you saw her just get stuck right there trying to get that hip locked forward, get those legs locked out. Strong lift, though, strong lift, and she needs to keep attacking to keep herself marching up that leaderboard in this event.
That was 405 for Brooke Wells, so again, 10 pounds more than she did previously at 395, 10 pounds closer to Tia Toomey if she were to match this. 330 on the bar for Carrie Pierce. Pierce sitting solidly in third in this event. She's not going to get caught by Davidsdottir. She's not going to catch Tia or Wells.
So, like, for her, there really is a strategy for her. It's lift heavy, but don't. I mean, you're not going to beat the girls up at the top right now. So just lift enough to kind of keep that position. Stay there for the rest of the event.
Davidsdottir will be up next. She had 275. She's going for 295. That would be 10 pounds over what Adams did in the first round. So a 20-pound jump for Captain Davidsdottir.
All right. Looks solid. Very nice lift. So the 295 is what she hit in the 2018 game. So she tied what she hit for. And we got to remember, we don't have any crowds pumping people up and being able to ride that emotion. I mean, it's kind of like you're working out in your gym by yourself. So the fact that she's able to pull that, as long as the same thing with these other women, the fact that she's able to pull that right now is impressive.
Adams hit 285 in her first attempt. Looks like she has 310 on the bar. So if she can hit this, that might put her back up in that fourth place position. There's just a 9-pound difference between her and Davidsdottir. 310 goes up for Haley Adams. So it's going to be an interesting third round between Davidsdottir and Adams. Good speed off the floor. Nice lockout through the top. That's a confidence lift right there.
Yeah, you know what? That really puts the pressure on Catherine. We knew that there was that battle between these two women coming in. We knew that that was going to be the issue, and she just answered the call with that lift.
Right now, Toomey has a 3-pound lead over Wells. She has yet to take her second attempt, as she is also going for 405. So Wells got it in round 2. Toomey's looking to match it.
Good.
405 is good for Toomey.
Not a hitch at all. So we saw that little bit of a sticking point right above the knees with Brooke Wells on that last one. Nothing at all with Tia. That wasn't even a problem. Very confident setup. You know she's dealing with some weight now. There's a little bit more of a preparation to get ready for it. Check the hamstrings and a nice lift. Just worked right through that pull off the floor. Stood up nice and easy. Well, nice and easy. I say that relatively, of course.
And we move into the third and final round. And here's what's on the line. Tia Toomey, matching Wells' 405, has put herself back 23 pounds ahead of Brooke Wells. Davidsdottir only has a 4-pound lead on Haley Adams. Pierce, again, solidly in third place. But this is a big lift for Brooke Wells.
Oh, she's still moving. Look at that. Inching it up.
Wow. And we're looking to see if that actually happened.
All right, so very tight. You see her everything's engaged. She gets right up past the knees. She's hanging out there trying to get those hips. You see her inching up. There's the lockout, shoulders behind the bar, and then get this thing off of me.
432 pounds for Brooke Wells. $335 for Carrie Pierce, so not a big jump. But that 32, that's 27. So Brooke Wells just put on 27 more pounds. Now, if Tia were to get at least 415, she could win the event overall. But as of right now, as it stands, Wells is sitting in first place overall by 4 pounds. Now, Katrin Davidsdottir, 307 on the bar. She has a 4-pound lead over Brooke Wells, over Haley Adams. She had hit 295 in set 2. 12-pound jump at 307. And now the door is open for Haley Adams. Again, Davidsdottir had 701 total. Haley Adams behind her at 697. Again, these pounds are all unofficial until they are officially documented. But as it stands right now, if Haley Adams can hit a 315-pound deadlift, she will pass David's daughter for that 4th place position.
But I think the lift that Katrin, she had to go for that, and I don't think it was outside of her realm necessarily. We're in competition, so she was going for it, so she had to. But the bar just got out of position just a touch.
Adams is putting 327 on the bar, and again, we just told you what the math was, and I'm hoping that this isn't too much. Oh, nice
Obviously,
lift for Haley.
Tasia didn't think that was going to be too much. Or you can hear in the background, you got that. Okay,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
big deal. Just another day, right on.
Yeah, well, it's one of those. It's like, do what you need, not over what you're supposed to. But Haley Adams will hit 327. That should put her into 4th overall ahead of David's daughter. So that was a big lift for Haley Adams. Now, Tia-Clair Toomey. She's behind by 4 pounds, but if she can get anything over what she just did, that should solidify her 3rd event win in a row at 4:15. It will do it. As unofficially, Tia-Clair Toomey
Look at this.
hits 4:15.
Just powerful. Just powerful. And I'm telling you, she's lifting these weights by pure confidence. It's like, you're not going to win. She beat Brooke the last time they did this by 5 points, which she beat her now by 6 points, or 6 pounds, I'm sorry. The confidence is just so incredible. But if you are the 3-time champ, how could you not be that confident, especially coming into what we're doing now?
Yeah, but I loved what Brooke Wells is throwing on 27 more pounds and going for it to put her into 1st.
Heck
but
yeah.
Brooke Wells, 432 pounds. She'll have the heaviest deadlift, but overall, it looks like unofficially Tia-Clair Toomey might have edged out Tia-Clair by just 6 pounds. But this is what we wanted to see in an event like this, in this you go, I go format. Brooke knew what she needed to do. She was 23 pounds behind. She jumped 27 to give her a little bit more wiggle room.
Well, and, the first 2 events, Brooke has been having a rough go at it. So she needed something to kind of pick herself back up, get her back in the games. That was big to go with that. That was big to hit that. So hopefully this jump starts the Brooke Wells that we've seen getting into this phase, so we can see some very, very fun, for lack of a better word, talking from the spectator view. I want to see some competition.
That's right. Brooke Wells, 432, will have the heaviest deadlift of the bunch. She's down with Nikki Brazier.